Let's talk about the weather, shall we? Because if you live on Guam, as I do, and you really, really love the island weather, as I do, and you were trying to exercise yesterday, as I was, you were not able to because there was a lot of the wet stuff coming from directly above us. Now, who better to explain why and, more importantly, where we go from here than my buddy Landon Aydlett. He is at the National Weather Service. At times like these, like our friends at the NWS, and so appreciated, so critical. So let's go into the KUM News Zoom room right now where Landon is stationed. He's of course over in the office at TZN. So Landon, I know you guys were saying ahead of time that you were expecting really, really rainy day yesterday, really, really rainy day today. I guess 1 out of 2 ain't bad.
Yeah, 1 out of 2 is not that bad. The rain definitely did come down across Guam yesterday. It was more of a Guam and Rota event, and not so much for Tinian and Saipan, where they had that shear line. We had these two features coming together generally over the Mariana Islands. That was a weak tropical wave coming out of central Micronesia, coming up into the Mariana Islands. At the same time, we had a shear line dropping down southward over the Mariana Islands. I'm going to turn my screen around just a little bit. This is what we're looking at. So we had that the surface, the tropical wave coming up from Chuk. It was more or less a open wave surface trough as opposed to a closed low level circulation. So that was not so bad to speak of. But we had this old cold front of boundary, a shear line that's been dropping down southward, and that's kind of stalled out this morning over Rota, Tinian, and Saipan. The winds have been picking up gradually across Guam at the airport. We saw the winds around 5 to 6 miles per hour this morning. Now they're upwards of 10 to 15 miles per hour. But as you go up northward across the island chain, those winds really pick up. And that's because of the stronger winds that exist along and north of that shear line, where we've been seeing sustained winds of 15 to 20 miles per hour at Saipan, with gusts up to 30 to 32 miles per hour this morning. So the good news for Saipan, we've not had that heavy convective rainfall. That's where you're more indicative of showers and thunderstorms with that deep convection, because they have the governor's inauguration up there this morning, and that was an outdoor event, I believe, around 10 o'clock this morning. So we've been holding our breath up there, but right now the radar does not look bad up there, with just a lot of light to moderate showers, and it's all shallow moisture, so it's riding below the radar beam well up to our north. So if we're not seeing it on our radar down here, then it means it's shallow moisture. It's just more light nuisance rainfall and drizzle, and that's what they've been dealing with the gusty winds. With this heavier showers and thunderstorms, that was between Rota and Tinian. That's now all dissipating nicely, and it's really not a bad day at this time. The current forecast on the street may need to be updated because we have an abundant amount of sunshine across Guam, and it looks like we're going to be some peaks of sunshine at Tinian and Saipan as well. So really not a bad day with all the rainfall yesterday. We had rainfall totals anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of rain across Guam, with some flash flooding occurring down in Maritza, the Barcenas housing area. Those are the typical areas for flooded streets, and that river that cuts into that 90-degree angle right along Route 4, and then it curves and goes under the highway there. That was
Yeah,
a
can
problem
we
there.
talk
They
about
had
that
to,
for a second, because
yeah, go
I
ahead.
follow you guys on social media, as everybody should, and we highly make sure follow NWS Guam on all social media platforms. They put out amazing information. I know the initial projections, and again, these are forecasts on Saturday night, where the Guam might receive 3 to 5 inches of rain. I'm not sure if that was a little bit more on the conservative end or maybe like an overestimation, but you said we got about 2 to 4. And now that I think about it, we got pretty good doses of rain multiple times yesterday, but for the most part, it was just a really, really overcast day.
Yeah, it was definitely overcast. A little bit of a delay to the rainfall yesterday morning, but the hot spot was in Tumuni. We had about 3.5 inches measured at one of the gauges, and then in several other measurements, around 3+ inches in Dededo and also southern Guam. So those are the hot spots. We did not see anybody reporting 5 inches or 8 inches or 10 inches, and so this was not a significant, memorable rain event by any means. So it's just it was a wet pattern here in the windy dry season, but it's very typical with the shear line, these windy conditions. So keep in mind, we do have some advisories in effect. That's a high surf advisory for north facing reefs, as well as a high risk of rip currents for north facing reefs. That's going to continue through tomorrow morning. There's also a small craft advisory for the waters of Tinian and Saipan because of the stronger winds up there. And also the flash flood watch remains in effect, but I think that will be allowed to expire as planned later this afternoon.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we do not have Mother Nature's number on speed dial, but I have Landon Aydlett and the National Weather Service on Zoom. And, for my money, that's just about as good. So, Landon, we always appreciate the insight, my man.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
All right. Please stay tuned, everybody. There is more. Hotspot, as Landon was mentioning. Hotspot, get that? Product placement. The dude's a marketing genius, too. When we come back.